Yes, yes. What's going on, guys? My name is Eddie Tranzcendent, and I would like to welcome you to the Transcendent Outlook podcast, your daily oasis of positive vibes. Your daily oasis of positive vibes because, listen, there's a lot of negativity out there. There's a lot of things going on out there in the world. And what we want to do with this podcast, as you already know, is we want to bring you a little dose of positivity because there's a lot of good things going on. There's a lot of good people doing good things, a lot of great organizations, a lot of great businesses out there. And as you already know, what we want to do is that we want to make sure that we share that we share the good people doing good things. And today in particular, I'm super excited because we're going to be talking to a gentleman who is doing great things. Is going to be doing more good things, and he's coming here to Bridgeport. He's going to be at the Klein not tomorrow, but the following Saturday on November 16th. And I'm really excited to get into this conversation because I really want to get to know this gentleman. And I want you all who are watching to also get to know him at the same time as I am doing so, right? And so as we kind of get on here, if you're already watching, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, wherever you are, go ahead and share and so that folks can kind of jump on and be able to catch this live. I'm sure they can watch it later, but mejor que lo vean ahora, nice and live. That way they could jump on into the conversation and if they have any questions, if they have any, anything that they want to kind of, talk about, we could do it all here in persona. As you can tell by the screen, I'm going to be interviewing Eli Castro today, Eli, and I'm really excited for this. He's very patiently waiting, hanging out in the back. But I'm just gonna take a few seconds here as people jump on to just make sure that we're good to go on Instagram, good to go on YouTube, on LinkedIn. Just make sure everything is kind of good to go because ustedes saben que there's a one-man show, so I gotta make sure I'm producing. I'm doing everything I in my way. But again, thank you so much. As you're coming in, please make sure you check in. Let me know where you're at, what's going on, and we're gonna get to it. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Lawrence Castle of the Klein Memorial Auditorium here in Bridgeport, and also John Torres, director of the Bridgeport Caribe Youth Leaders. Those two gentlemen played an important part in making this interview happen. And I feel like I can't get started without giving them obviously their that respect of saying thank you for making this happen. They're doing great things, and this is one of the things that they're doing. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and bring up Eli so we could start this conversation. What's going on, Eli?
What's going on? Thank you for having me, brother.
No, listen, thank you for coming on. It was super short notice. Johnny reached out to me, a couple of days ago, literally a few days before. I think the day that they reached out to you, they reached out to me and say, hey, can we make something happen? I say, let's definitely happen. Let's definitely make it happen. Although, admittedly, I haven't been to any of your shows here, and we had the discussion beforehand, and you kind of, you laid it down on me, and I understand, I messed up. Pero what I do know is from what I've seen, whenever you do come to Bridgeport, los Latinos aquí se ponen, they get excited. They're excited before, after. I see the pictures, I see oh my God, it was such a good time, all this stuff,
And you see the pictures, you see the comments, and you still don't come to my shows, bro. You just digging, bro. Keep digging.
Hey, listen. It's not digging. It's being honest. I could have lied to you. How do you know that I didn't go to one of your shows? How do you not know that I wasn't one of the people sitting in the audience?
Now you're telling me that you could have lied to me and got away. But let me explain to you. I used to be a prosecutor. Then I used to be a criminal defense lawyer. You're telling me that you think you could lie to me? It would probably take me 3-4 questions. And you would break. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm criminally trained. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a matter of which question's gonna get to you, which question's gonna break you down. You can say, I've been to your shows. I'd be like, which show? And that's when they would start breaking down. What was your favorite part? Rayo, espérate. I didn't know you were gonna get into specifics. All of it was my favorite part. No, like tell me the end of the show. What was the end of the show like? Oh, it was like really funny. Mentiroso. You know what I mean?
I had to leave early. My wife had to breastfeed the baby, so we had to get out of there
Oh,
early.
yeah, I only saw 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh man, listen. I think I want to start right there. I want to start with with you being an attorney and kind of like that whole journey, man. Let's go a little further back
No.
and let's talk about it because I know that I thought you were just a criminal attorney, but now you're telling me that you were a prosecutor. So what came
Yeah.
first?
Prosecutor. I went straight from law school to being a prosecutor in Central Florida.
And is that something that you kind of grew up like hey, when I grow up I want to be an attorney? That was something that you really wanted to do?
Nah, man. Who
Nah, nah.
I didn't
I don't.
I didn't even have any lawyers in my family. There were no prosecutors. I didn't dream of that. I just stumbled on that, right? Because
Okay.
my mandate, my father had one mandate for me. You're gonna be a lawyer. That's it. You understand? And because I grew up
Yeah.
scared of I thought, okay, I better do it. ¿Me entiendes? Porque yo le tenía
Yeah.
miedo. I'm still scared of my father. You understand? So I knew I had to be a lawyer. I just didn't know what kind of lawyer I was going to
Got it.
be because I didn't like the idea of being a lawyer porque para mí un abogado pelea, right?
See.
And
Yeah.
I have the pelea gene in me, right? It's in my blood, right? I like to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to live my life fighting, right? So I told my father, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna disappoint you because I don't want to be, I don't want to fight for a living. And my father
Yeah.
said, not every lawyer has to fight, And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, a lawyer que no pelea is like, I don't know, a dog without teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? What are you doing? By
Yeah.
me, the whole point of being a lawyer is to fight, right? That's why you go to law school. So in law school is where I met the mother of my son, right? And when I met her, her dream was to be a prosecutor. Like that's why she went to law school. She had interned as a prosecutor. You know what I'm saying? Like she was zoned in. So I was like, hey, you got room on that little bandwagon? So I jumped on porque she had direction. I didn't. You understand? So
Yeah.
it was directly because of her that, I got an interview with the state attorney's office. I literally got an interview because I was married to her. We got married right after she graduated from law school. And she was a shoo-in, and I got hired because I was with her. So
Wow.
that's how I kind of fell into the state attorney's office. But once I started, I liked it a lot
Yeah.
because you're in the front lines. You know what I mean? Like you're right there. Somebody gets in trouble, somebody gets arrested, and it comes straight to you.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I kind of like getting my hands dirty like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I loved it. We were both prosecutors. We were both leaving the office together. We had offices next to each other, and I was prosecuting adults. Then I was prosecuting juveniles. So bet I was my father's pride and joy. You understand? I
Yeah.
was, I was punishing people. Like I didn't care who you were. I didn't care where you came from. If you were in my courtroom, I wanted you locked up. Like I had no. My father, my father never showed me mercy. So I didn't understand what it meant to be merciful. My father never said, I was gonna give you correazos, but I'm just gonna talk to you. No, there was never, it was correazos. It was the
Yeah.
only time my father showed me leniency was instead of giving me 21 correazos, he gave me 12 correazos. That's the only leniency I got. And he gave me 12 because he got tired. Not because he took pity, but because his arm got tired. Me cansé. You're lucky I'm tired. That's the only leniency I got was because it inconvenienced my father. So when
Yeah.
I became a prosecutor, they were like, "Oh, take it easy on him. It's his first time." I'm like, I don't care, man. His first time is now his last time because he's never getting out of jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
may have been an illegal sentence, but I didn't care. I wanted everybody locked up. That's the kind of prosecutor I was.
And at what point do you make the crossover to the other side of the courtroom, the other side of the aisle, como quien dice.
I'll tell you right now, I didn't want to cross over. You know,
Okay.
I love being a prosecutor. Pero qué pasa? Que I do this trial against a private firm in town,
Okay.
and I wasn't supposed to win any counts. It was ridiculous. We were going after a kid who got in trouble with the cops, and the charges were really heavy. And no prosecutor in the office wanted that case because they knew the judge wasn't going to go for it, and it was a loser. But
Yeah.
I said, yo, I'm gonna win this. You know what I'm saying? So what ended up happening was some of the counts I lost, and some of the counts I won. So the
Okay.
private firm apparently was so impressed by how I litigated the case that then they wanted me to go work for them. And that started rounds of negotiation because I didn't want to leave. And they thought
Yeah.
I was playing hard to get. So they kept upping the price. And I'm like, nah, bro, you don't understand. I'm a prosecutor. You know,
Yeah.
I like punishing. I don't like figuring out defenses. I like attacking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were like,
Yeah.
ah, you play, I see your game, you're playing hard to get. How about 10 more thousand? And I'm like, nah, man, it ain't even about the money. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because I like basically I'm like giving out legal correazos. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then they got to the point where they doubled my salary as a prosecutor.
Okay.
And I told my wife, right, who was also a prosecutor, and she was like, if you don't take that offer, okay, if you don't
She's gonna give
leave
you the correazo.
if you don't leave the state attorney's office, I'll leave you. Okay. So
Ooh.
I was like, all right. So reluctantly, again, I fell into it because the offer was simply too good. The money was,
Yeah.
ridiculous. And then once I became a criminal defense lawyer at their firm, I saw how much money I was bringing in, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm bringing in more than they're paying me. And
Yeah.
then I was like, wait a minute, hold on. If I did my own thing, what and I started doing the numbers. I'm like, espérate, hold on, but why am I even working for you? So
Yeah.
then I left and I opened my own firm. It was just me, and I kept going because apparently there was no criminal defense lawyer like me. O sea, cuando uno es abogado de defensa criminal,
Uh-huh.
you're either, you're either burned out, right, where you just don't care and you just, whatever, man, whatever, plead guilty, I don't care, whatever, man, right? Or apparently you're me. And for me, I took all my cases personal. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
if you came to me and you paid me to represent you, to me, you were family. And
Yeah.
to me, I took personal offense that they were trying to lock you up. And so I'd go in there and I'd want to fight. And I'd fight everything, every case. I took it personal, because to me, I didn't want to lose one. I don't care if you were super guilty. There was always something I could fight for, whether it was
Yeah.
getting your charges reduced, pleading down a better negotiation, just cualquier cosa. I was looking for the
Yeah.
fight. And word spread. They were like, yo, hire Ellie. Yo, hire Ellie. Yo, that guy's crazy. Yo, hire Ellie. Yo, ese tipo, mira, ese tipo pelea. He was fighting me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
word spread before you know it. I didn't have to advertise. It just spread like wildfire.
Wow. Okay. Now, did you mention where was this at?
This is all
Where
Central
were you?
Florida. So Orlando,
Okay.
Kissimmee. Basically, I was in, Puerto Rico 2.0. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was,
Yeah.
Orlando is like Carolina, Kissimmee is like Bayamon. You know what I mean? So I was basically all of Central Florida was my playground.
So pretty much that firm coming over and grabbing you from the state, they pretty much just released a monster because once they got you out of there, they kind of just showed you your own potential, right?
Yeah, they put that seed in my. They opened the window, and I was like, "Oh, word! That's a lot of money for what? Espérate, you paying me how much? But I could be making double." So I basically doubled what they were making. Once I opened my own
Yeah.
firm, I doubled my own salary, right? And that's when I realized, yo, there's a game out here. Pero
Yeah.
the flip side of that is the burden that comes with that money, because
Yes.
these people giving you everything they got for you to
Hmm.
perform essentially a miracle. And however much it cost me to produce that miracle, it would take a piece out of me.
Hmm.
And I'd have to turn around and do it all over again for somebody else. And it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily work that way, right? So if I'm able to get a jury to find you not guilty, I got to start over again with another guy who has different facts, whose maybe case is not as strong, but they don't care. They want the same miracle you just produced for
Yeah.
that guy. So the money was good, but the emotional toll it took on me was too much, which is eventually why I said, look, I can't continue to do this at the rate I'm doing it. I'm gonna have to tune out like everybody else so that I don't get burnt out. But I didn't want to be a lawyer that was just kind of checked out. And I was like, what am I doing? I never got into this for the money. I never wanted to do this to begin with. What is it that I've always wanted to do? Is I've always wanted to entertain families. I've always wanted to be a
Yeah.
comedian. I've always wanted to be an actor. And I was like, I'm out. So I closed my office and I went after my dream.
So it was never, because I mentioned to you before, before we went live, I mentioned to you that I worked in a court system for a while. Now, I wasn't an attorney by any means, but I worked around attorneys for 8 years, and I talked to a lot of them, a lot of great people here in Connecticut. And for a lot of them, it was like what you're saying in terms of like, all right, you got done with one case, you got to do the next case now. For a lot of them, that was like the game that they liked. Like they liked that game of like, all right, we're gonna start all over again, and we're gonna do it again. How was that different for you? You never found it like interesting, like a game to just do it all over again, or was it something that como que se apagó the flame like turned off?
No, no, no. It's not for me. It's exhausting to have to do it again
Okay.
from the viewpoint of I wasn't looking at it as having to do it again. I was looking at it as having to win again. See, for a lot of attorneys, they're not really looking at the win or loss, or they have a healthier way of looking at a win or loss, right? They're looking at it like,
Yeah.
well, if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. Now, for me, there was only one option. I had to win, period. So there
Yeah.
was no, if we lose, it's the jury's fault or it's the judge's fault or it's just not a good case. It doesn't matter. If I had a horrible judge, if I had a bad jury, if I had bad facts, it doesn't matter. I expected to win. So when you start with the level with the bar that high,
Yeah.
eventually you're gonna wear out. And I
Yeah.
and I when I was and I had to make a decision, either check out and just kind of go through the motions of, hey, if we win, we win, if we lose, we lose, or save some of that passion and energy that I still had and to put it towards something that I love, which was my dream of entertaining people and families at my own shows.
Yeah. And I want to get there, but before I do, I want to go back to your father real quick. When you transitioned from being a prosecutor to being a defense attorney, um, and you go to your dad, or maybe you talk to your dad and say, "Papi, I'm gonna do this now." Did he feel any way about that? About you going from prosecution to that? Did he feel maybe your safety what was gonna be in question now or anything like that, or did he not care as much?
I think he always loved that I was a prosecutor, because I think my father
Okay.
has always been a prosecutor at heart. I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
with being of a defense lawyer, he was always like, well, what are you defending? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like many people, they're like, well, they got arrested, they're guilty. What's the big deal? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where's the fight? Until he came to one of my trials as a defense lawyer and he saw what I was fighting, and he saw
Mhm.
how some charges, for example, are overblown or they're ridiculous or they're unfair, unjust. And he saw the fight that I was doing and he got it. Then he understood, oh, I see. I see where the fight is. I see what your role is. And then he accepted it a lot better than he did when he just found out I was switching sides.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Now, you've mentioned a few times that you were just you're a part of you just wanted to go entertain people. You wanted to go kind of have your own shows and just bring smiles and laughter to families. When did this start? Like as a kid, were you kind of the class clown? When did it all kind of start?
No, no, I was always quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I always admired and I looked up to class clowns. I always loved that. I would
Yeah.
love to be entertained by them, but I was more inspired by my uncle, Tio Luciano. My uncle Luciano, would always gather us around in his living room and he would just tell us stories and he would make everybody laugh just him describing how he got pulled over by the cops, or him describing how his grapefruit tree in his backyard died. Didn't matter what he was talking about. He would have us all laughing, but more importantly, he would make my father laugh. And when I saw my father laugh, I thought, that's power. If you could make somebody like my father, who is perpetually mad, my father, even when he's not mad, he looks mad. So if you could break that, then I want that power.
Yeah.
So that's what lit something in me. And I thought, if I could ever have that opportunity to make my father laugh and make people with that kind of demeanor laugh, I would love to be able to do that. But the arts, for example, was never encouraged, right? I grew up in a different generation. To say I want to be an actor or a comedian was like saying, I'm going to run away. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
hate you. It was like an insult. So I had to kind of do by them. I had to do right by them first before I developed this courage to do right by me. So I started writing, kind of my own show on the side when I was a prosecutor, because that
Mm,
I had already attained that level. I had already reached it. So I was looking
yeah.
around like, okay, I'm here. Now what? So I started
Yeah.
kind of, writing, little stories. And my cousin that I grew up with in Orlando, encouraged it, because as much as you could be a dreamer, you still need somebody to
Yeah.
believe in the dream, even if it's
Yeah.
just a little bit, even if it's just like, hey, that sounds good. Whatever it is, you just need that little empujo. So
Yeah.
so in writing one, since he liked it, I wrote two. And then he liked the second one. So I wrote three. And then he said, why don't you put them all together and do a show for like friends and family? And that's exactly what I did. I kind of gathered everybody around in a room like my Uncle Luciano used to do. And I just kind of told this story. And the way they reacted to it was like, wow, this is different. When
Yeah.
are you going to do another one? And that's kind of the way it's been every time I do shows. People always say they liked it, but they always want to know when the next one is, because there's a
Yeah.
there's a hunger for the type of family shows, kind of bilingual shows that I focus on, because there's just something about families kind of getting together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a couple's night out, you understand? But like where you could bring your grandmother and your kid.
Mhm. Yeah.
And because I saw that that was missing, I felt like instead of complaining about it, I would just create it. Instead of hoping that somebody would give me an opportunity so that
Yeah.
or instead of hoping that somebody could do, I just said, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to
Mhm.
create the kind of show that I would want to see, that I would want my mom to see, that I would want to see with my brothers and sisters, for example. And that's what I've been doing my whole career.
I love it. I love that so much. Now, before, when you're still an attorney, you're gonna just make that jump. Um, how's that kind of conversation there with your significant other or with your family? How's that conversation go? Or do you just kind of just go and not really say anything?
No, no, I really needed the support of my son's mother,
Okay.
because she stayed in the law, and she knew that this wasn't my game. She knew
Yeah.
that I had other goals, that I had other dreams, and she had been supportive of me as I was developing this while I was a lawyer. But she knew that I couldn't do both. You cannot
Yeah.
be a criminal defense lawyer by day and a comedian by night. It's
Yeah.
just not, because your clients are not going to understand. They're like, yo, why,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Well, you got another show. I'm still locked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after a few kind of years of that, she was supportive. And so I couldn't make that jump without her, because I kind of needed her, because she understood me the most, because she knew me back in law school. So
Yeah.
once I made that jump, that's when my life completely turned. I mean, it was, in every aspect, it was completely different, as it needed to be, because the career shift was completely different.
Yeah. No, that's support, man. That part is so important. And
Yeah.
like I told you a while back, I made the big transition of leaving my state job. But unlike you, I had no plan. I just quit, and I was just like, I'm gonna go figure this out. So esto fue un poquito más loco, but I did have support as well around me, and that definitely does help. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we're here for today, because we're here to talk about your newest production, right? Which is the clinic.
The clinic.
A show that you're going to be bringing to the Klein Memorial Auditorium next Saturday, November 16th. And you were just telling me, I don't know if you told me on air or off air, that this is it. Like, you were bringing it this one time to Connecticut, the place acabó. So whoever is going to come has to come on November 16th to see it,
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that a little bit, because I'm excited to hear kind of about it, because not only is it going to give me an insight as to what to expect, but it's making me excited, because as I'm talking to you, I see John Torres. He's sitting in the green room right now, waiting to be called up, and he has some amazing kind of perspective on what he's bringing to the table with this, in partnership with you, and I'm really excited, because this production that you put together is going to really bring a lot of good to the people here in Bridgeport. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about this new production.
So, unlike my one-man shows, the clinic that I'm bringing is a play, and I'm bringing two wonderfully talented actresses that I'm bringing over from Chicago. So it's the three of us on stage. And what's nice about this is that it's one of those things where I wanted the play to still sound like my shows, but you've never been to my show, so you don't know what I'm talking about. But
Oh
anyway,
God,
this
is killing
for
me.
me, yeah, bro, I got all day. So I think what's important was that the actresses on stage with me still spoke in the same way that I do in my shows, meaning that the play is for the whole family, right? And it takes place one day at a medical clinic in a Latino neighborhood, right? It's what happens in this one day inside of the lobby while we're waiting to see the doctor, right? So I try to bring together what our community is like when it comes to medical issues, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to capture that, but I wanted to make this play a little different than any plays that I've seen. So I managed to put in the play a few instances where the audience joins us on stage, right? So it's kind of like like an interactive play. But the audience member, when they're on stage, they don't have to act. There's nothing on them. In other words, they're protected by the play. They're not there to be made fun of, ni nada de eso. But by them being present, they move the story along in a unique and interesting direction. So while they don't need to say anything or do anything, we need them there. So I wanted to create a play so that our people could see a play, but also be part of a play. You get me?
Okay.
So that's what makes this play look unique, feel unique, and sound unique, because it's in our voice.
Okay. No, I definitely get it, and I understand it. And when you say it's in our voice, in terms of the language, this is something that's going to be English and Spanish.
It's an English play, pero
It's all English.
right? Nuestra cultura existe en los dos idiomas. In other words, I can speak English to you, right?
Yeah.
But you know exactly where I'm from. That's what I mean. It sounds like us. In other words, there's a certain manner of speaking that I may approach or I may not. You see what I'm saying? Or there's a certain way of talking that I can talk to you and you can understand what I'm saying to you. That's how a writer writes, in my opinion, is how you want to be heard. In other words, I can write very beautifully, almost like in prose, like a poem, or I can make it so that the people sound like people like La Tia, or that old lady that lives down the street, or the guy that works in La Bodega. I can make it so that it sounds like us, and I think the play does that, and I think it makes it not only more relatable, but it makes it funnier.
Yes. No, I definitely I get that, and I get how that then also brings people in, and it's a great feeling. I think it's a good feeling as someone who's going to be sitting there watching to feel like you're part of it. I think that definitely brings a lot more to the show. Is there any particular reason why you're gonna just have it this one time and not again, or is it just in Connecticut but you're gonna do it in other places?
No, right now it's just Connecticut. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. And I'm stepping away. I'm stepping away. This is kind of like this is it for a while for me. So
Okay.
there's not going to be an opportunity to see the play in New York, or there's no plans to do it anywhere else. I wanted to do this play at the Klein. I talked to Lawrence. Lawrence has been wonderful. He's been supportive of all my shows. I've been going there for so many. I told Lawrence about the play when I was writing it, and I told Lawrence, you gotta bring this play up when I'm done, because I think of all the places that I want to do the play, I've always wanted to do it at the Klein, because the Bridgeport has been so incredibly supportive and loving of my shows. The energy that I've always gotten there, I try to give it right back. I've had so many memorable shows at the Klein that I said, Lawrence, if I'm going to bring this play, if I'm going to travel with these two actresses, if I'm going to fly them in, I want it to be here at the Klein in Bridgeport. I mean, there's no better venue that I've performed at. It's just, Bridgeport has always been such a blessing. So I'm extremely excited to bring it.
No, and I'm excited for it as well. And I just, because I was born and raised here in Bridgeport, to hear somebody speaking so eloquently and nice of such a great space here in Bridgeport, that really makes me happy. And I'm excited, Eli, because not only are the people going to be blessed with an amazing show, but thanks to the work of John Torres that we spoke about earlier, there's going to be an opportunity here for this show to also be able to bless other local nonprofit organizations here, right? And so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up John Torres. He's been waiting in the background, kind of watching. I'm going to bring him up because for two reasons. First of all, I want him to kind of share a little bit about what it is that him and Lawrence are doing with the proceeds of the show. But I also want to bring him up because I know that he's been to some of your shows. And I haven't been to your shows, and I've been getting attacked by you this whole time. And I want Johnny to come up here and just help me out and just make me look good a little bit. Because Johnny knows I'm a good person, so hopefully he'll vouch for me, and and I could be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he would be called a good character witness. So you're trying to introduce a good character witness.
There we go.
I object.
Eli, this is John Torres, Johnny, Eli.
Hey, Eli, Hetty, the E&E live, on a Friday night. I love it. Hey, I just want to say, first of all, Eddie, thank you for hosting this podcast and the fact that I always could count on your support. So grateful for you. And Eli, looking forward to next Saturday night, man. If your past productions have anything to do with it, I know that Bridgeport and us, the community, are going to be in for a great night.
I promise.
I remember seeing you, I can't tell you how many years ago, but it was in New Haven. And you had the show Born in Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rico one, Made in Puerto Rico, so I forget the title now, but it was, I said to my wife, we got to, like you said, when's the next one? We got to come back and see this guy's show. I think we've seen every single one of your shows, and you've been awesome. And like you said, your shows are family friendly. That's what I enjoy about it. And there's no cursing. Everybody has a great time. And whether you say it in English or you say it in Spanish, we all relate to it because we lived it as well. Some of the experiences that you share with us. So I know that this clinic, many of us have probably gonna experience the same thing that you're portraying with the two actresses. And I think, for us, this is our third year that we bring a play to Bridgeport in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. And I know that we're talking November 9th, next week, November 16th. But the thing is that we always celebrate la herencia, you know what I'm saying? La cultura. It doesn't matter what day of the month it is. So we're looking forward to that. When Lawrence came to me with this opportunity for our organization to get involved, I said absolutely, because I know the type of person you are and the product that you put out. So we're looking forward to it. We're calling on not only on Bridgeport, we're calling on New Haven, Waterbury, all of Connecticut, New London. You got to come down and see this. This is the world premiere and the only premiere that's it. The one time the clinic is coming Friday, Saturday the 16th at the Klein at 7:30, and tickets are very reasonable. I think that and it's not only for the Latino community, it's for all communities, because like Eli said, it's predominantly all in English. And we're looking forward to it. And, one of the things that we've done is we've incorporated other organizations here in nonprofits in the greater Bridgeport area to be able to have part of the ticket sales proceeds to go to their organization when ticket holders select their organization. So everybody, this is a whole team effort to get everyone to learn about the play, but also to attend and support it. So we're looking for another great night.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Johnny, thank you so much, man. Thank you for again for trusting me for this and for everything you do, man. I mean, I tell you whenever I see you, always. But thank you for all your great work. I think that earlier I was Ellie and I were talking earlier in the interview, and he was talking about just kind of like always having that person there to kind of support you, to kind of tell you, hey man, like good job. When he was writing his first kind of his first jokes and his first kind of the things that he was putting together for his shows. He said he had his cousin that was kind of like there, kind of saying, oh yeah, good job, do another one. And Johnny, you're one of those people. You're one of those people who's always supporting. You're always, willing to say, "Hey, man, good job. Let's go." Not only with other leaders like myself, but with other kids that you guys throughout the years have been able to inspire in your organization. So I just want to take this moment to just kind of say thank you, man, because you're one of those guys that is always there to support people and like Ellie said earlier, that is so that is so needed and so welcome. Especially when you're doing new things.
No, man, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I've been blessed. I've always said God has placed great people in my life, in addition to my parents and my aunts and uncles that have believed in me, inspired me, and motivated me to help me be the person I am. And I feel like I need to pass that on to our community, leaders, kids, anybody that I come in contact, because it's very easy in our community for us to get down on each other rather than lifting up ourselves up. And I think I truly believe that everyone has a talent. It's just getting in the right position and more importantly, to believe in themselves and they can accomplish it. Just like Eli told this story, man, shifting careers, from one extreme to another and just having that support system that help them overcome those obstacles and continue his belief. And boy, he's a great comic. I see it. I see Eli one day on Broadway, honest to God. That's how much talented this guy has. And Eddie, just as you are talented and we all have a gift, right? Everybody has a different gift and it's just bringing it out.
All right, Johnny, man, thank you so much.
Right.
I don't know if you were here. You got in a little late, but I'm being threatened. I have to be at the show. Yeah, está haciendo loco ahora, but you know how it is.
No me estoy haciendo loco. Es que all of a sudden you got really dramatic. Now all of a sudden I'm threatening. You got to understand. To me, I take words very seriously. So if you want to start playing with words y tirando cosas como threatening, it wasn't a threat. It was a requirement. You're going to interview me. You got to go see the show. I know, mira, que he's threatening me. Que he's attacking me. So that's what I'm saying. That con persona como tú on the stand, it would be like a show. The jury would be like, yo, he's eating them up. Yo, oh my God, mira cómo lo tiene. This is better than Law and Order. Oh my God, look at.
I agree. We should. He should be included as one of the guest cast members out there with you.
you tell him to sit second row, third seat from the right.
There you go. We'll make sure that happens. We'll get his ticket. Make sure of that. Hey guys, listen.
I want to be able to see him.
Yeah. Hey, definitely. If I go inside right, but you can't lose them. Easy to find. Well, listen, Eddie, thank you once again for doing this. Eli, again, for taking time out of your night. Thank you both. Look forward to seeing everyone Saturday night, 7:30 at the Klein. Que vengan temprano. Come early, get your seats, and enjoy a great evening. Thank you, guys. God bless, man. Be well.
All right, Johnny.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate you.
Oh, Johnny, man. Johnny's a good dude. Johnny's a really good dude.
I'm people around like that.
No, yeah, he's a really good dude. I'm looking at some of these. What's this guy talking about here? No lie, Italy, we were just in Puerto Rico and had to stop and ask for directions. It was funny. We got there, pero just saying, casi no llegamos.
You know how it is.
Yeah, man. So yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, so we're definitely excited for this show coming up. Is there anything else in terms of the show that maybe you want us to know before we go, or it's just like bang and just don't worry about it, just know that you're gonna have a good time?
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna laugh and you're gonna laugh at things that we're afraid to talk about, right? So we're afraid to talk sometimes about our health. We're afraid sometimes to talk about healthcare or medicine or doctors. But it's my attempt with the clinic to kind of break down some of those barriers and not only laugh about it, but feel good about it. And I'm telling you, I'm warning you right now, the two actresses that are coming with me, they're going to steal the show. They're not just there to look pretty. They're going to take over. One of them is the star of the show, and the other one is going to give her a run for her money. What you're going to see in the clinic is something, I promise you, you've never seen. So it's not like, mira, it's like last year's play. Like, they bring a play like this every year. I guarantee you, my job, my goal is that everybody go up to Lawrence and say, Lawrence, please bring this back. I didn't know it was going to be this good. I would have brought my cousin. I would have brought my aunt. I would have brought my best friend. That's my goal, is to make you want this play to come back. It's not coming back though, but I'm just saying, go and then come up to me when I'm shaking hands and I'm hugging everybody afterwards. Come up to me and go, you were right. This was worth it. I want this to be worth getting a babysitter. I want this to be worth getting a new outfit. I want this to be worth, waxing your eyebrows and doing your hair. Todo. I want this to be the best night of the year. Honestly, nothing short.
Nah, I love it. Eddie, listen, I don't want to take much more of your Friday night here. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you taking this time out. I would love to. So do you still live in Florida?
Why you gotta know where I live, bro? How is that?
No.
How is that even relevant?
Well, it's relevant because what I was gonna say was that this was super short, and I love your story. I would love to sit down with you one-on-one and do something a little more. You know what I mean? But if you're down there, then I'll go down there. You come back. You come up here.
Yeah, we can sit down anytime you want. We can sit down after the show if you go. See, I'm trying to get you to go to the show.
No, I'm gonna be at the show. I'm gonna be at the show, but I'm not bringing cameras and microphones to the show, so I'm not gonna do an interview there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
we can get together anytime you want, brother. I would love to continue this conversation. Really, it's been a lot of fun, and we still got a lot more to talk about.
That's what I'm saying. We barely grazed kind of like the surface there with what we talked about. But again, it's Friday night. I know that you got things to do. I got some food waiting for me in the kitchen. I'm about to go devour real quick. Porque yo empecé un poquito and I was like, oh my God, I gotta go. Y la dejé a mitad. My stomach is like, yo, where's the rest of it? It's a mess.
Ya la comida mía está fría, so let's.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. It's anyways, and I don't have a microwave. It's a mess. Anyways, listen. Bro, it's been great. I'm gonna be there on Saturday. I'll see you on Saturday before the show. I'll come back and check you out, and then and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for taking this time, and I look forward to doing this again super soon.
A ti, gracias. See you soon.
All right, bro, take it easy. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Tranzcendent Outlook podcast. Guys, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you go to the Klein.com and check out the tickets for this show coming up on November 16th. As you already know, I'm gonna be there. I know I saw the comments. You guys are snitching me out, talking about, oh, I'm gonna put him out to you and all this stuff. I don't know what's going on. You guys, all of a sudden, the comedian is on here, and you guys are like more his friends than my friends. You're gonna point me out to him, and I mean, I don't know what's going on. I thought we were good. Got my god sister. Oh yeah, Elizalde, I'm gonna point him out to you. All right, I got you. I'm gonna see you over there on Saturday, and we're gonna take care of that. But listen, in any event, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you get your tickets. I'm gonna be there. It's gonna be a good time. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're on Facebook, make sure you like. If you're on Instagram, I appreciate it. You're probably not on LinkedIn looking at this, but if you are, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you share this with your friends. And I'll see you guys super soon. Again, thank you so much. And don't forget, be transcendent.